Okay, and welcome to our third episode of NW Sportscast. Today we're going to have a great lineup.
Yes.
We're going to end it off with some power games, but we're going to start with some winners of the week, or we're going to call them the champions.
Yeah, the champions.
We're going to touch on the Seattle Mariners and their playoff chances, the Seattle Storm, some Sounders stuff, and then, as I said, we're going to finish it off with some NFL talk with our weekly power rankings and NFL picks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seattle stand out.
Let's start off with some winners of the week. Next winner?
Well, I'm going to go with the hometown team on this one, the Seahawks.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The Hawks, that was just a massive game. And for anyone who was writing the Hawks off this year is no longer writing the Hawks off. I mean, you just have to listen to the radio, the national sports radio. Just a couple minutes, you're probably going to hear something about Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, who looked really good.
One of the best performances I've ever seen from Russell Wilson. He was 31 for 35.
Yeah, only 4 completions. Best quarterback of the week, if you ask me.
NFC Player of the Week. I mean, he did great. You have to do really good if you make 31 completions, miss 4 times. That does not happen.
4 touchdowns. Also rushed for, I think, close to 30 yards.
Yeah.
So he's not going to use his legs as much this year, but
you could see in that one play that he didn't immediately go down.
Yeah, no, he tried to pull Lamar.
And he did. He juked one guy and then came down, but I don't think he doesn't have to be Lamar, right? He has to be an average running quarterback.
He has to be Russell.
He has to be Russell Wilson. And if he's going to be Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, props to Pete Carroll. He's another winner in my mind. Gave him the football, let him throw 35 times.
Well, did you hear that Pete Carroll now says he's going to go back to the rushing game?
No, really?
Yeah, he said.
No, I still think that I'm based off of what I saw in week 1. 35 times throwing the ball. I think Pete Carroll understood a little bit. Again, he didn't let Russell, completely take over the game with 45 passes or whatever, but he still let Russell cook, and I think he showed some sort of willingness to change a little off the constant running game, and I think that showed. We were up in the first half for that was one of the
entire time.
We were up the whole time, but I don't remember I'm sure there were games, but the majority of games last year we were either down or tied or at half, right?
Yeah.
We were either down or tied.
I'll be honest, at the half it was only 14-12. The Falcons were still right there with it.
But we had the ball and we had the lead going into halftime. Yeah. And usually it's the other way around. Usually we're down by 7 with the ball, or we're, down by 3 with the ball, or whatever. We're usually always coming from behind. So that's huge.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
And our defense. What do you feel about our defense?
Our defense is better than people think it is, and Jamal Adams has made it a lot better.
Yeah, that was worth every single two first-round picks. That's worth the third-round pick. That's worth, and who did we trade?
George Fant and Bradley McDougald.
Yeah. I mean, that's worth it. I mean, that's a lot of capital, but I don't know if you can find a Jamal Adams type player even in the first pick of a draft. He's a
Jamal
special
Adams
player.
is definitely a top 3 safety in the league. So the fact that we added him, and a lot of people were saying, if the Seahawks just get another defensive impact player, that could get them up to an 11 or 12 win season, and I think that's what they're looking at right now.
Our defensive line and linebacker core looked better than expected.
Yeah.
Got to Matt Ryan a bunch in the second half, especially.
I was impressed. We really did stop their run game. Matt Ryan ended up taking 54 passing attempts.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
54.
And they had Todd Gurley, and they didn't use him.
Gurley looked good in the first quarter, and I was a little bit worried about him. But once that second quarter rolled around and, we held them to a field goal in the first drive, and then we just kind of was shut down from there.
We took over the game, yeah.
What did they get? They got a touchdown late in the first, and then they got another touchdown in the end of the second quarter, so it was still close.
And at the end of the fourth, they got a touchdown.
Yeah, so, but yeah,
I mean, that was not a close
25
game.
points, 38, but it felt like more. there was never a point in that game where I was worried as soon as we had the ball. I was no longer worried.
I was not worried even going to halftime, but my most worried point was at halftime. Not saying I was worried, but only up to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, for me, it's like I know how Russell works.
Yeah.
He doesn't lose with the lead at the half.
I don't think he's ever done it.
In
his career. I think
twice.
that's a stat.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a stat. He's like literally never.
Yeah, I know. That's one of his big things that he's well known for. And plus, he can get comebacks when he's down. And that's why he has such a good winning percentage. But for me, the only time I was a little bit nervous was that first drive when they were giving the ball to Gurley, and Gurley seemed to be getting 5-6 yards in each carry. Yeah. That's when I was like, oh, we better figure out an answer for this. And luckily we did, and we basically kept him quiet the whole game.
Yeah, we did good. Okay, so one more winner each. I have one if you don't have one. Okay. I have Kyle Lewis. Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
On the doubleheader against the A's, he played great. He was on a little bit of a slump.
The fact that they're still saying that Luis Robert is the rookie of the year.
Did you see that robbed homer?
Yeah, it did.
It was crazy. Number one.
The comparison to Griffey is going to start rolling.
No, it has already.
Uh-huh.
Griffey's commented on the Instagram post like, "Oh, that looks like me, kid."
Oh wow.
Yeah. So Kyle Lewis is a big winner. That's a huge catch, and I think that he needs that national exposure.
He really does, because nobody seems to really care about Seattle sports. And that's why there are so many people writing the Hawks off, and that's why so many people
specifically the Mariners
write the Mariners off. Yeah.
I mean, people do write off the Hawks, but since they're good enough, people pay attention a little bit, but literally no one cares about the Mariners.
Yeah.
So I think he needs those big plays. He could be 4 for 4 with a homer, a double, and a couple singles and a walk, and people wouldn't even notice. But he needs like a show-stopping type play like that. And he needs the national coverage, and I think that's a big win for Kyle Lewis.
Yeah, that's something Seattle hasn't got a ton of this year.
And we'll talk about the Mariners in a little bit, but I think their playoff chances have increased from the last time we talked.
Yeah, I
agree.
With that.
So one more winner.
All right, my last winner is going to go with the baseball theme again. It's the LA Dodgers, because watching them, they get to take on the Astros, who there's the whole rivalry right now between LA and Houston, and it's been even bigger this year now that they get to play each other twice this season instead of I don't even think they were planning on playing each other with the original schedule.
Because of the cheating,
Yeah, obviously with the Astros and the garbage can banging and beating out the Dodgers.
And buzzers and all different types of stuff.
So there's a lot that the Dodgers had against the Astros going into this series, and they beat them. And they held them down, and that's one of the reasons why the Mariners are still close. And they didn't sweep them, but they did manage to beat their foes in Houston. And then in came the Padres, who a lot of people didn't realize this, but if the Padres had swept LA, the Padres would have taken over the number 1 seed in the NL.
That's crazy. The Padres
and the Dodgers handled them. The Dodgers handled the Padres as well. So for that, I'm giving the Dodgers as a winner because they took on 2 tough teams. And they handled themselves very well.
Okay, one more winner probably would be the Jaguars, by the way, too. I think they did good. They got to win. And
they got to win.
Lots of people thought including me, I thought the Colts were going to be really good. I did not think the Jags were going to. So I think they're a slight winner, especially Gardner Minshew missing one throw?
Yeah, Minshew was great.
One throw he missed, right?
Everyone who wrote off the Jaguars, including yourself.
If you're a Jaguars fan watching this, I doubt there's any of you, but comment below how you guys think Gardner Minshew came out.
The Minshew mania, it also, is real.
They had some fans in the stands, maybe.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars' home field advantage could have got them that win.
I don't know. I mean, it was a close game. Phillip Rivers really didn't play that bad.
No. Rivers was fine for his new team.
Considering the first week with the new team, he played better than Tom Brady, but the team around him just isn't the greatest. Defense did not look as dominant as it did a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think of the quarterbacks who were starting their first game with their new team, I would say probably Phillip Rivers was the best. But you could give it to Cam Newton as well.
Yeah, but Phillip Rivers more points, right, than Cam?
He scored more points.
But he has more yards than Cam.
But Cam Newton got the win, and those 2 touchdowns is already a Patriots record, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
For quarterbacks rushing. So
how did Teddy Bridgewater do? He was doing good.
He was decent, but he kind of blew it at the end of the game. See, I think he had a couple chances to win at the end of the game.
I mean, what was that play call? They gave it to a fullback instead of Christian McCaffrey at like the 1 yard line. And
the Panthers was an interesting game to watch.
McCaffrey's a beast, though. I mean, if he does this for even another 5 years, he could be going down as one of the best running backs ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Josh Jacobs on the Raiders though looked just as good as McCaffrey. I will say that.
Yeah, but I think McCaffrey is going to be more consistent this year.
Yeah, that's probably true. He was more consistent last year.
Okay, losers of the week.
Yeah. Seattle stand out.